What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching Car Inside. It's time for qualifying breakdown as Camping World Truck Series heads up to Pocono for C-Fixed this week. This is the out lap coming out of the pits. Lap 1 is going to be your hot lap. We got a 50.02. I feel like you might see some people venture down in the 54-second range this week. This was the best I could get in the moment. As track conditions change for different qualifying sessions, you could see some different lap times, but this is a 20% track state, which is the generic track state that I always use for these qualifying breakdowns, as it is part of the quote moderate usage that iRacing uses for the qualifying setups. This is a fast run through of lap real-time speed. I'm using a 12-to-1 steering ratio with a -4 steering offset, 58% brake bias. Again, that is all personal preference. Brakes, you're not going to be using them. It's just something generic that I set for my pit stops and I felt comfortable with. But I did notice that I had to put about -4 in the steering offset to get that wheel over to center. 12-to-1 felt like I had a lot more control for the hot lap we're trying to lay down, as it is very slick. The setup they have for Pocono this week is very slick on the entry and through the middle. It can be very slick on your exits if you're pinching the bottom, but as the truck kind of hits the middle of the track and works off the exits, it gets very tight and it wants to plow. So you got to watch for that. Got a combination of handling discrepancies that's going on this week. So just, you know, it's going to be all in the comfort for what steering ratio you want to use. But so here we are. We're setting up, coming off of our out lap from the pits. Coming into turn number 3, probably be useful if I showed you the proper lap. As we're coming to our hot lap, we're going to be entering in high, kind of just kind of lifted at the safety barrier, getting back in it right before we get to that Cup Series sign, staying above this black seam here, just building up all the momentum and all the speed that we can to carry down the front stretch, getting down away from the wall. Just don't want to have any drag on that windshield coming off the wall. It's just kind of a habit that I've gotten into, and I've noticed that it kind of works sometimes. So we're not going to change that. Looking for this first cone here and this green light. Somewhere directly in the middle of this is going to be our lift point. And as soon as you lift, you start turning down. You're going to start picking up throttle as you approach the first seam. Just the slightest bit of throttle, maybe 10-20%. Keeping it down 10-20% as we approach from the first seam down to the yellow line. When we hit that white line, that's kind of going to be looking for that white line. But what I was saying, this white line is kind of going to be a reference point where we want to keep those right side tires on it. We want to be below that. If you're any bit above this, the truck's really going to push up the banking. So you want to be down in this part of the track to help the truck rotate. You're going to be on your right rear here. As you approach this yellow line, you're going to start to pick up the throttle as you approach this white mark here. And you're going to be in it from that point up off the corner. Left side's on the white line. Between there and the wall, I feel like that I lost maybe enough to where I could have been in the 54-second range coming out of that corner of the track. I really wasn't pushing enough, but, you know, maybe I was pushing too. If I tried to push a little more, maybe I'd push too much and actually scrubbed more speed. So the lap felt pretty good overall. As we're going to head to the tunnel turn here, looking for this Pocono sign. This is going to be our lift point. You're not going to fully get out of the throttle here. Just lift enough down to this little jagged edge here. There's a strip of asphalt, and you can see where it starts. This is where we're going to aim. If you notice that this point of the track here is a little sharper, that yellow line is, that's a reference point that I use, that I really pay attention to. As I approach this Pocono sign, kind of lift 25-30% throttle, and then I'm picking up the throttle as I approach this yellow line. Now watch this strip of asphalt. It ends here, the little darker strip, and as you get to the other side of the tunnel turn, it seems like there's another little jagged edge here on this yellow line. I really want to follow that yellow line down, and then that is where I'm going to drive straight off toward the wall. You're really going to be working the wheel. You can watch the wheel here as we go through this corner, back in the throttle, working the wheel, steering right. There you go. Come up over that. There's a hump there, so it's going to be really slick. As we come into turn 3, going to drive straight toward the safer barrier. Start to turn off of the safer barrier at the final cone. You're going to start turning before you start lifting. So turn down. We're going to lift right when the safer barrier starts here. This is going to be our lift point. Completely out of it. White line. Barely in it. Start picking up throttle gradually, looking for this rumble strip, and white line, accelerate. Really going to push up off the corner here. You want to stay in it. back down, and that is a 55.020. And again, I feel like you may see some guys venture down into the 54-second range, but that was the best I could get for the moment for the track conditions that we had. I feel like overall it was a pretty decent lap, so if anything, as I always say, hopefully it's just a good reference point to kind of help you understand what you need to do for your hot lap. It may not be the fastest lap you see, but hopefully it might be one of the most helpful laps you see. So, as always, I appreciate you guys watching Car Inside, watching these qualifying breakdowns, always hitting the like button, and continuing to subscribe to my channel. If this is something that helps you, please leave a comment and let me know that. I love getting any kind of feedback that I can from you guys. The reason I continue to do these videos and take time out of my day is to be helpful to everybody and try to give back to all the support that I get here on Car Inside. So if it's helpful, please leave a comment, please subscribe, and please hit that like button. It goes a long way in helping me and helping my channel grow. And as always, thank you guys for watching Car Inside. We will see you next time.